This is The Future of Money, a podcast where we hope to educate and get educated about the new world of blockchain and digital money. And my name is Eric Boer, and I will be your host. Hi, and welcome back to Blockchain, The Future of Money. Today, I have with me Jasper, as always, and we have a new friend. And your name is?
My name is Carey Collier Jr.
So before we start here, just tell us a little bit who you are. I know most of you guys already know Jasper, so real quick.
Okay, I'm Jasper Logan. I work for KUAF doing community engagement. I also make music, all that good stuff, and kind of act. This is how we know each other because he did a short film that I starred in, and so yeah.
Cool. Karen?
Yeah. My name is Carey Collier Jr. I am a filmmaker here locally in the state of Arkansas, and I'm also a project manager. So Jasper and I met each other because I decided to jump in the film world about a year ago, even though my depth of knowledge of like video and film is decent. I decided to start making films last year, and he acted in my first film, and that's been winning a couple of awards.
What's the name of the film?
Shadow Work.
Mm-hmm. And where can we see it?
Yeah, it's actually going to be at the Fayetteville Film Festival this year.
Really?
We got into that, and that's awesome. We actually just won an award for the Arkansas Melanated Film and Arts Association.
Let's go.
And then the Rogers Film Fest as well.
So, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to see that.
Heck yeah.
I am invited, right?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So what we're really going to talk about this time is actually filming and metaverse. So, where does filming come in the metaverse, or the metaverse comes into filming? And just to make a couple of things clear, this is my opinion and this is how I look at it. Metaverse is a little bit an overused name. People are using it as it's a hype thing, right? Oh, we're in the metaverse and stuff like that. Personally, I feel that metaverse there's so many levels to metaverse. We have something that I would say would be, real world metaverse. You have multiverse, metaverse, and of course metaverse. And to me, it's like, what does metaverse really mean? Yeah. Well, to me, metaverse is the connection between the digital world and the real world.
Yeah.
Right. So, as an example, would be, I used this with another friend. He said, "Well, think about this. You have a little vacuum cleaner running around, right? And that is something that runs around in the real world and cleans your house, but you can see it on your iPad and you can look at the map of where he is being, and then suddenly that is part of the meta world." Right?
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
So it's a connection between these two worlds, and of course, so then I also personally I think metaverse exists already in the real world. I got a really good example from a friend of mine. He said, "Well, if you ever been to IKEA." And you go to IKEA and you walk into one of those rooms that are preset. Okay, this is what you can do in this room if you have, 50 square meters or something.
Yeah.
Then this is what you can do. You walk into there and you get ideas. Oh, this pillow, or maybe I can change this bed in that room or whatever. In a sense, that's actually a metaverse too.
Yeah.
Because it's something that they created for you to go in and take a look at.
I feel like we're seeing more and more examples of that. I saw something on Twitter the other day where it was like doctors were using like kind of like digital 3D versions. Like you could hold up like your camera to like a like digital 3D person, and then like you can see like the bones and like the like different parts of the human body digitally, but like in the room, in the space, in the like physical space that it's in. So
you're right, because they do this a lot in education, for instance. Where you can go in and you can look at the part, or you can take the car or the engine apart. And you can look at the different pieces, and with some of the
Tony Stark type stuff.
Like there you go. You just mentioned something. Was it your mom?
Yeah. My mom just bought a VR headset, and when I tell you it was wild, we were sitting on the ground, and we're like spinning this globe, and we pick a location on the globe, and it takes you into this space where you can watch a tour of like Kenya, and you're going through Africa and through the safaris, and you're learning about like the ecological disasters that are happening there, and you're like standing there in front of there like watching elephants walk in front of you, people working and stuff like that. And the cool part about it is that like it really not only immerses you, but it really is a lot more educational because it's engaging.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that that's like a really huge part in what's going on right now in what you would call the metaverse.
But,
right?
yes, yeah, and you're right. Well, we can call it the metaverse because it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're talking about filming and the film industry. So, do you think, as a filmmaker, that we are going to be using things from the film industry to incorporate that more in the metaverse?
Yeah, I've had conversations with my mom about this.
Really?
Well, okay, go on. Tell us.
So, I think that what you'll start seeing is actually video games are going to start becoming a whole lot more like movies.
Interesting.
And
that's really interesting.
And if you think about it, like video games,
They kind of are, yeah.
They already kind of are. Like if you look at the cutscenes that they have
I was just about to say,
in video games, it's insane. Like I think watching Injustice one time, I just watched the whole entire Injustice cutscenes, and it was 2 hours and like 30 minutes long. It's a whole movie, right? And so when we reach the point to where we realize, oh wait, the immersive experience of movies can be kind of shifted the same way that video games is shifting towards movies. And I think they're almost going to kind of merge in the metaverse to where you can be an experiencer in the movie, right? So like you're a person that is actively not participating, but like essentially viewing first person what's going on in the movie, and you're going to be able to like look around, and it's going to be the next level of like beyond 3D and beyond 4D.
I was going to say 4D.
Especially since I've been kind of looking at the metaverse for quite a while now, and VR for quite a while. I don't know if you know anything about The Verge.
Yes.
Or The Void, I think it was.
Void?
The
Yes.
Void. Yeah.
Sounds more familiar.
It shut down right after the pandemic happened. And so it was this place where they were having people come in, and it was a room that had been specifically created for virtual reality mixing with real life, right? So where the walls were, where these like things.
I've heard it, and they had like the like almost like Lord of the Rings style type stuff.
I think it was called Void.
Yeah,
okay.
Void.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so they would like do different ones. So they had a Lord of the Rings one, they had a space one. They were coming out with like new ones for movies that were coming out, and that's where I think that it's gonna start merging into.
Real.
Yeah.
Okay, this makes me think like. So when you have like these things like Oculus and even these spaces that create sort of
you got the ARs and the VRs.
And the VR and AR type stuff. And then you have this like metaverse idea, the idea where like there's like a digital space where people can go into, and there are tons of different things happening. There's like life inside of this space. Will we get to a point where those two things are connected? Does that make sense?
Where the real world and the digital world connects?
I guess I'm saying where like you can put on your Oculus at home and go into the metaverse, and that's joined into the same space that he's joined in. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh no, I think we're already there.
We're already there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Dang, I'm late.
You know, you got Half-Life, for instance. It's a good example of that. You walk into, it's a game. You walk in, you create your own life in there and all that kind of stuff. And this is you creating an extra life. And I will meet you in there. You created another person in there.
Okay,
you're already doing that more or less in the game, and on your computer. But just all you need is just connect that into your handsets and your VRs or ARs or whatever you're using, and then I think we're very close. I mean, we are there.
Yeah, is that the goal, to connect all of those spaces digitally? Does that make sense?
So that's why I said that metaverse is used in such a broad term.
Right.
Because the thing is, metaverse, you can use that in so many other levels.
Yeah.
You know, like you say now, let's say that the three of us, we jump in our little suits and we're standing there. And not only, like you said, you have a globe and you point on it. Let's just point on another star system.
Yeah.
Let's go, hey, I'm going to meet you at Exerion, whatever, over there. And we go over there. And that's a world that someone else created and we can float around on whatever it is, right? That's one way of looking at AR. But then also AR can be used in medicine.
Yeah, right.
You
Okay.
know,
Oh,
for
yeah.
instance, you will have, in the future, you will have a digital twin. We've talked about a little bit about that. So you create someone that is a complete copy of yourself. And when you go to the doctor, you say, okay, I have pain here. And the AR will show you, the digital twin. I mean, yeah, no,
I
this
don't
is
like
what. Yeah, I know. I mean, but I'm just,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I'm
no,
making
definitely,
things
yeah.
up because the way I look at it personally is that this is such a broad term that we haven't really,
Yeah.
you know. But we can say, take a digital twin of a car.
Yeah.
You know, instead of saying that, hey, you know what, it's a person, this is a car, this is every single detail of the car is, I mean, down to the last screw is in this digital twin, and there's something wrong with the car, and it's in this area, and you send that to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer will do their research,
And go,
take
yeah.
it completely apart, and say, this is the problem, we're going to send you the parts. And then, or they send it to a car dealership.
Yeah.
One thing that I was hearing about was insurance companies. You're in a car accident, they take pictures of the car, where it was and everything. They send that in. They have the digital twin, and they in this metaverse space
Yeah,
create
create
that
that.
same accident, and they can see what the damage is, and
Yeah.
then say these are the parts that need to be replaced.
Do you feel like there are like sort of like good benefits like that to like the VR metaverse space for like human beings, like emotionally, socially, etc.? Does that make sense?
You know, it's like, I think like everything else, and you probably will agree, there's goods and there's bads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are a handicapped person who can't move around or walk or have speech impairments or whatever it is, you create a digital twin and you go into this world where you are someone that is like everybody else that will empower you,
Yeah.
right? So that's a good thing. The bad thing could be that someone goes in there and creates a fake person and then goes around and uses. I mean, there's always going to be goods
Yeah.
and bad things in all of this. But let's go back.
I know, I just-
we're getting
I
away
was
from
thinking
that.
No, it's okay.
So-
And I think to the point that you guys were talking about, we're actually already on the way there. Like I had a thought while you were talking about, having twins, right? Look at Apple Watches
Oh,
and
yeah.
how they're recording
True.
our data. And doctors now are saying, hey, if you have issues at home, go home and do a blood pressure test, record it on your Apple Watch, and then I'll be able to share that data with you, right? So
Yeah.
we almost already have that where
I want to
doctors are
say
helping.
that is a part of
Yeah,
metaverse.
that's what I was gonna say.
So because
that is.
metaverse
Oh,
is
that-
so
yeah, okay,
undefined,
okay, yeah.
right? So yeah, it's really interesting. Well, but going back into the space of movies and stuff like that.
Well, here I got a question on that. So there's a music producer who started creating like these like music production spaces in the virtual reality world.
I've
Have
heard
you
of that.
Have you heard of Illmind? He's done that.
I think that name
yeah.
sounds familiar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So like what he'll do is like he'll like create these like virtual house. People can go in and listen to this like music that he's only created in this specific space. And so the only way to listen to it is to literally like immerse yourself into this
Yeah.
virtual
Be a
metaverse
participant,
place.
yes.
Yeah, to be a participant, and then like you listen to the music or whatever. I feel. Do you see like movies heading in that direction as well?
I do. I don't think there's any reason to believe that there's not going to be a limitless amount of opportunity in the metaverse and in VR because of how much like opportunity it provides people to have a different experience with their life, right? So people like we said, there's bad and there's good. On the good side of things, people will want to go to that in order to experience things in a different way. So like let's say that you want to go to a music festival or something like that, and you can't be there because you can't travel. Well, what's going to stop people from selling tickets and being like, hey, I'm going to have the concert in VR. We're going to have a few cameras that are going to be available that are going to record the concert in real time, that are going to be able to stream that to VR in such a way that you're going to be able to like look around and see what's going on, right? And I don't think that that's beyond the realm of possibility whatsoever. And so when we're talking about something like that pushes the opportunity through the roof. And I think that movies, just in general, like I said before, I think that they're going to start entering in the space of like games and allowing you to be in the space to watch them, but be almost an active participant without actually affecting what's going on in the movie. I mean, imagine you're in a Wes Anderson movie, right? Yeah. And that would be wacky, right? So like one of my favorite films is like Fantastic Mr. Fox, right? So I get to sit there and watch, Fantastic Mr. Fox do what he's doing, but like I'm down in the ground with him, with his family, right? That's a super cool immersive experience that's, I wouldn't say relatively easy, but as the future keeps coming and as we continue to advance our technological like ability, that's going to be a possibility, and not only a possibility, a sense of enjoyment that people are going to feel, being able to like go back to their, childhood films and sit down and be like, wow, this is what it feels like to be in the movie, right?
Yeah, and to touch on that thing, and one of the things that there was a woman that I was listening to, and she said, when I was talking to my mom, that is X amount of years old, and she said, I don't see myself being part of this metaverse. And she said, well, but imagine that you could put on those glasses and you go in there and you see your grandkids. That don't live in the same city, but you can interact with them. You can sit down and play these games with them. You can do a whole bunch of things. And then suddenly she said, ooh, yeah, I like that. I can do that. Right? So, yeah, it's very immersing. I want to go back to one of the things that I really liked from, the forums and stuff like that I am part of is that we've been talking about, for instance, USDs. There's something that Pixar came up with, and it's actually, I have to read what it is. It's a universal scene description. And one of the things that was really, really good with that was that they made it open source. When Pixar was bought up by Disney, they said, well, if you're going to buy us, but this needs to stay open source. And the good thing by doing that was that there was so many other communities, even like you were talking about, the gaming community came in and said, hey, we can use this now. It's open source on GitHub. Let's look into that. And then took that one and they started incorporating that in their stuff. Yeah. You have, in the gaming industry, for instance, you have Real World, the Real Engine, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. And I don't know if you ever heard of Nanites.
I don't think I've heard of Nanites. I have heard of the Unreal Engine right
now. Okay, so Nanites is actually, it's a way, and also they have the light source that is open source. All of these things are open source now. Yeah. And really quickly, to just explain what a nanite is. In the past, when you had a picture of a pen, when you zoom into it, it gets pixelated and you get blurry and blurry. When Nanites actually goes in and you can just zoom in. Oh, wow. I mean, until forever, or you will have a city and you're driving through the city and it just keeps on, the closer you come, the city will still look the same. Yeah. So it's a very interesting technology. And another great thing is like NVIDIA, for instance, that makes all of these graphic cards, came out with a program called Omniverse. I don't know if you've heard that. Not yet. But that Omniverse is like if you are making something in Blender and then you want to use another program to do this, you can actually just incorporate that in Omniverse, and it all just flows together.
Wow, so Omniverse is like a platform that allows you to merge different platforms that you use.
It's kind of like Python is the glue to put all of these software programs together. So Omniverse, you should look it into.
That's crazy.
Look in Omniverse.
Anyway, I messed with Blender for a little while when I was trying to do animation, and so Blender is like a really complex thing that you have to learn in order to like do animation, and a lot of the stuff that you pull over, that was almost metaverse in and of itself, because like the way that you were interacting with how you pull pictures from the outside to do layering for different scenes. So like say for instance you want a brick building, right? You would go and either you could take a picture of said brick building and then apply that as a texture to that brick building that you were building inside of Blender, or you could go get a picture of somebody else's, picture of a building and do that same thing. So like that just speaks even further to it. And then the fact that you can do that and make it look even more real by merging different platforms that you would use to do that is
yeah, and the thing with Omniverse that I think is so cool is that, for instance, if you are, let's say that you're filming or doing something and you put that in Premiere Pro, right? But he is doing something in Blender, and you say, how can I incorporate this, whatever it is, into your movie? Well, you can use Omniverse to do that.
Are they doing that in the industry right now for VFX?
I'm not in the movie. So I'm going to say
You got me
maybe.
interested.
Probably.
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, no, but yeah, look into it. And
Absolutely.
But what I really want to stress here is the fact that these people are doing everything and trying to do it open source, so everybody can use each other's things.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We've seen, for instance, things popping up now in Disney's Mandalorian.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they're using things in there that they took from someone else, right? And so what I'm trying to say is that when we see things like this happening, that is really going to speed up the whole metaverse experience,
Yeah.
I think. And so from my point of view, not being in the movie industry like you are, but I do think that the movie industry is really helping, and the same thing with the game industry, is really helping the metaverse to move forward much faster than it probably would have done otherwise.
I have a really good example of that.
Okay, go ahead.
Skyrim.
Yes.
Skyrim is such a great game. I love playing Skyrim, and I got my dad into it, which was really like a difficult task at first, and now he won't put it down. And so one thing that everybody got really excited for, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the special edition is open source because you can create mods. Is that the thing?
Well, actually, I think you're right, because my son was telling me a story that he was playing Skyrim and he was walking through the water, and then someone had said, hey, yeah, you can put in a mod here where there will be fish swimming, right?
Absolutely.
So they put the mod in there, and my son implemented that, and he said, you know what, the fish are swimming one direction. I'm going to go in and have to change that mod a little.
Yeah.
Then he changed the mod.
That's crazy.
And then he said, Dad, come and take a look at this. And I was like, what are you doing? So, look at the fish. And I said, yeah, there's fish on the water. No, look at the way they're swimming. What? And he said, yeah, look how they're now swimming individually in different directions.
They have modifications.
And I was like, okay,
that's crazy.
And you
That's
can do it on
crazy.
consoles now. That's what's crazy. You have a limit to how much you can put, how many mods you can put on the consoles.
Yeah.
But imagine a PC that has like a lot of storage and a lot of RAM, and you're able to go in. I mean, I've seen videos of people modding Skyrim and then putting it into a VR headset. It's crazy, and it's so much fun too, because it's immersive, and it's a game that you normally would have played, just with your hands on a controller, and now you're like in it, and then on top of that, you get to customize what that gaming experience looks like, because people are out there, modding, and they're doing this for free because they're like, we enjoy the game, we love it, and then who's to say that Bethesda won't take that for their next game and say, hey, look at all of these different things that these modders came with for this previous game. Now for the 6th edition, we're going to incorporate a lot of the stuff that we saw that people really enjoyed with those mods to make it even better.
Or someone in the movie industry.
I was going to say, that's the same. Literally.
Swimming around in the water and putting that as a part of the movie, and they don't really do that.
So you feel like it's making it more like, I guess, removing that barrier between like the industry and like the community, and like that makes sense. That's really cool,
and then in the metaverse, I think as an artist, you will have a way closer connection directly to your fans.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
The way where you can interact with your fan in a whole different way.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, really cool.
Okay, here, there was I don't know if you saw Matt Damon's interview on Hot Ones recently.
No.
It was like a clip floating around where he was talking about how like DVDs.
Oh yeah.
Like they kind of like killed the movie, like the lack of like being able to go from like the theater to DVD, killing
I saw
revenue of like the music, the movie industry.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if there's a way for like metaverse, virtual reality, etc., to kind of like circumvent that. Does that make sense?
I love that you're saying that because that was next on my list.
That was next on your list. Come on, look, we're in tune.
How is the business model going to change by being in the metaverse? I personally think that it's going to be a form. Metaverse. When we talk about metaverse, it's a very close connection to blockchain. The blockchain and the metaverse, I think, goes hand in hand. In a way. And then once you start doing that, we're talking blockchain, and a lot of times when people talk about blockchain, we talk about cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. Blockchain is way much more in cryptocurrency, and we've talked about that before. We're going to talk about that again. So, but here's the thing. Let's say that you're making a movie, and then you're going through a system like Solana or Cardano or Ethereum, and then you say, for everybody that I'm going to have two different payments options here, right? One of them is going to be, you're just going to be someone that watches it, right? So you will pay me in some form of cryptocurrency. But you are a participant and helping in the movie, so you get portions of what he is giving me in there.
That makes sense.
So the payment options are going to be incoming and outgoing, or directly, also depending on what kind of scripts your smart contracts.
I saw another thing on Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot, and they were talking about how it was a user who was screenshotted their like Amazon thing, like, and there was a few shows that they had like downloaded from Amazon, but because Amazon lost the license to the show, that user lost access to those few seasons of the show. And they were talking about how like this is the bad part about like not being able to have like a physical copy of like something that you like a TV show or a movie that you own anymore. It's like that all of these things are still connected to platforms that we as people don't technically own, and that like can be ripped away from us at any point. These movies can go away, these like TV shows can go away, etc. Like even if like things start transferring to blockchain, like does that still take place? Like is there still the ability for the people to take ownership of things outside of what the industry is doing? Does that make sense?
Well, one of the things that I can see that happens, let's say that you made that movie, and you're going to put that whole movie on the blockchain. Right. Number one, blockchain is all over the world, so blockchain is not one specific place. But we take your movie and we put it on the blockchain, and we store it, for instance, on an IPFS, right? Interplanetary file storage, I think it's called. Anyway, let's say that you do that. Once it's on there, you set the permissions that you can come in and watch that movie, or you will set different kind of permissions. One of them could be that you pay one time when you watch it. Or it could be that you have a lifetime subscription. Because you made the movie, and the people that was sponsoring you in the form of crowdfunding situation, they will have lifetime access to that one, and then you store it on there, and then it's going to be there.
I was thinking that same thing though. Like I was saying that normally, you would have to go to a distributor, but right now it's such, as he said, an open source that like you could probably get the crowdfunding for somebody to create that ability for you to put it in the metaverse for people to either do a one-time buy or a lifetime buy. And then from that, my thought process is, okay, if I'm an independent artist that doesn't want to reach out to a big industry, outsider, that what I can do is I can say, hey, this is my movie, this is where it'll be on the metaverse. But like, let's say that I want to promote it, or I want that company to promote it. What you can do is you can probably set it up to where that is funneled to you to know who paid to see it when they're on that platform, that you actually own the individual rights to the original movie. But even when it's going through that platform, all they're doing is getting a portion of the profits for putting it there. But the actual centralized location of the buy goes right back to you.
I guess I mean more so for the consumer. So
and that's for the consumer though. So like,
that's for the consumer too.
Let's say you're on Amazon, right, and you buy a copy of my movie, right? Instead of you having and owning that copy on my on my site, let's say that you still stay on that Amazon site in the metaverse, but the route for the actual movie has to come through me. Right. So Amazon, in order to play my movie, they have to go back to the coding that leads through my website or through my, whatever it is that you use to create that access to that movie. It has to come through me. So you're buying from Amazon. Amazon's playing it on their site, so they're still getting that stream record.
Yeah.
But individually, let's say the license loses, like they lose my license, and I'm like, okay, you can't have my movie anymore. You're done, or the contract's up, right? You don't lose access to that because it still routes back to me. Right,
but I can't go through Amazon.
You can't
anymore.
go through Amazon, but that doesn't mean that you don't still have access through my original website. You could have a number that's saved. That as long as you enter that number, there's your redemption code. Right? So that's how you could bypass that. And I'm surprised that people don't do that right now, and that's not accessible now.
It'll come more and more and more. My next thing that I want to talk about. What do you think? In the metaverse, we're talking about digital twins.
Yeah.
But what about avatars? Do you think that we might be seeing more avatars in the movie world? And avatars is as far as I'm concerned, is already a big part of the metaverse.
Yeah.
I mean, without avatars, and there would be a metaverse, or vice versa. So, what do you think?
Are you talking about like in reference to like being inside the movie, or are you talking about just...
or both?
Okay. I mean, just actors at that point. I mean, you would talk about extras. Like, let's say that you wanted to be an extra in a movie, and somebody says, "Hey, if you want to be an extra in my movie, you can pay this much." And
that would be crazy.
We'll put your avatar in a movie. I mean,
that would be crazy.
That being a thing.
That would be crazy. I didn't even think about that. That would be crazy. To like, that's a crazy concept for like. Imagine Marvel being like, yo, we have like 50 extra avatar extras that we're going to use. I mean, half the movie is already like, virtual reality anyway. Yeah. So it's like,
it's an incentive.
They can have one guy running around and doing different things.
Yeah.
And then they use that. But here's the thing, though.
That's interesting. Wow.
We can have completely computer-generated AIs.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
Avatars, right? So we don't even have, or we already, I was reading Earl James Jones, Darth Vader. He's given out his voice to do Darth Vader for future things, right?
Yeah.
And he'll get paid for the rest of his life for them just using the voice.
Do we have like the technology? I guess we do have the technology to where like
to like voice alter to different words and stuff like that.
That's nuts. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. That's crazy. Actually, I saw a TikTok the other day of a girl who created a virtual person, and like, have y'all seen this? But he looks like he looks extremally real.
Oh, yeah. So they've been making TikToks with this person.
Yeah.
And it is it's an AI based avatar that is like she's creating this content with, but they're not the actual person in the video. It's the AI and the avatar creating all of the videos, and virtually nobody knew that it was an avatar or an AI. They just thought it was a person making TikToks. And it was really this girl behind the scenes that had created this as an experiment to see if people would be able to tell.
It was basically a social experiment.
Yeah, it was a social experiment, yeah.
But it was like real. It was like it was real. Like it
still is.
Yeah, it was insane. Like, do you feel like even with like the deep fake technology? I mean, have you seen Kendrick's new video?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the Hard Part 5.
Yeah. Like, have you feel like that will be utilized in film more and more?
It's already being used.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah,
because like you look at how they're de-aging people. That's
true.
Insane how well they were able to de-age. I can't remember who it was. I think Will Smith in Gemini.
Yeah.
Gemini, man, they completely de-aged him.
If you go back to Michael Jackson, he was a human that went all the way into being a tiger in one of his people don't think about that, but it starts already there.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah.
The metaverse has been all around us for a very long time, and we just didn't realize it. But and as I said before, the metaverse is, to me, the metaverse is being a little bit overhyped.
Yeah.
They're using it in a lot of businesses today. And unfortunately, it's a little bit like the .com bubble in the old days. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm a .com company. And everybody was just throwing money at you.
Yeah.
Last year was NFTs. Oh, NFTs. And we talked about that.
That's true, yeah.
NFTs, there's so much more to NFTs than just these Bored Apes or whatever it is, right? Same thing with the metaverse. They're talking about, metaverse and Web3. It's like, well, I think personally, because I've been so engulfed in this for so long now, that there are people out there who's like, I'm going to cash in on it. They don't understand it. People are out there writing books about metaverse, and when I'm reading and going, do you really know what you're actually talking about? But that's why I wanted to have this discussion, because the thing is that I wanted to show that metaverse is a part of the film industry and the gaming industry.
Yeah, already.
And then where what is the next one? What are we going to talk about next time? Next time we might be talking about metaverse in the medical field.
Yeah.
And just do one about that, because people need to understand metaverse is really, really big.
Yeah.
And titles so many different things, right? That was my point. I know we're running out of time. It's the same thing every time, isn't it? Every time we're here, time flies, and we're having so much fun.
Yes.
So anything else we want to wrap up by saying this?
Oh, yeah. I had one question.
Okay.
So what do you think is going to be the best way for film industry, like independent filmmakers, to be able to get into the metaverse for their like kind of first little toe dip in? Is it, going into maybe getting funding through NFTs, getting funding through, something else? Like how would you say is the best way for a filmmaker right now, just from your, your knowledge, to get into that?
I think one of the things that if people are wanting to do a combination between like the blockchain, metaverse, and all that kind of stuff in the film industry, I was at a startup weekend, and I was talking to a guy that is a filmmaker too, actually.
Yeah.
And we were discussing the fact that right now, because it's so new and people haven't really understood it, the best way to do this would be to, let's say you start a crowdfunding, right? But in the crowdfunding, what you do is that you go in and say, instead of saying, hey, you get a picture, now you're giving them an NFT, right? Yeah. So now they actually get a little bit taste of what blockchain and metaverse is.
Yeah.
Right? So you can say, hey, for $100, we're going to do a little, you can sit down with the actor and talk to him and ask 3 questions. We are then going to transfer that over on a blockchain somewhere and create an NFT that you own.
Wow.
That will be you, right? You own that little talk between you and for $100.
Yeah.
And,
that's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So these were things that he and I were talking about.
Cool.
I think in the beginning now there will be baby steps, but we're getting there. The other part of this would be is, as a filmmaker, look into these things like Omniverse and USDs and stuff like that. So what can I use in my movie making that is already free and open source there? And it could be that as a freelance, you go in and you say, hey, I'm going to use Omniverse, for instance, right? But I want to change this a little bit. So now you change that, right? And you put that back into the system. And that's your way of taking something from the big Omniverse space and giving something back.
That's right.
So that would be my answer. And again, I am movies and I am not an expert. I always say this. Anybody that comes and says that, I'm an expert on blockchain or I'm an expert on metaverse, so you're lying, because nobody is. This is so new that we're all constantly learning. And even, me being in this space for a while, just listening to you guys, I'm going, I had no idea. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. Yeah. So I'm very humbled to be in your presence. But again, guys, it's time to say thank you. And we will be seeing you the next time. Bye.